Good afternoon. I think just first of all, going back to our game on Saturday, we knew it was going to be a four-quarter battle with James Madison. Had a lot of respect for them. Coached well. Kids play hard, and it was. I mean, I think we took it to the second half, and then we started dominating the game in the second half, um, and really in the trenches. I thought really where it really showed up. Going back and watching it, offensively had some big plays with T. Huddy and one of his better games, particularly run out to the catch. Thought he did an outstanding job with that. And then, Tyon with a nice big play, another over 100 yards, and Jordan as well over 100 yards. So really good stuff from those guys. And then defensively shut them down in the second half. Did a great job. We've been doing that. Seems like in the second half, the last four games, which has been huge defensively. And I think obviously going into this week, you got Clemson, one of the top teams in the country. Year in and year out, Coach Sweeney's done an unbelievable job down there at Clemson, and it seems like they just continue to reload. I know they're coming off a tough loss last week against Notre Dame, which Notre Dame played a great game. Go back and watch it. Notre Dame's the same team that lost to Marshall and Stanford at home, and then played outstanding against Clemson. And really and truly looking at the game, won it in the trenches as well with their offensive and defensive line. So very impressed with what Notre Dame was able to do. And I think you look at that game, and you can kind of go what the trend has been, which is turnovers and big plays. I mean, they give up a block punt for a touchdown in the first quarter, and other than that, it's just a battle in the whole first half, essentially. And then, a pick six that goes 95 yards back the other way, and then an interception that, gets to about the 12. So that's the difference in the game, really. Kind of got out of hand from that point. But you can't turn the ball over in this day and age in football and expect to go out there and play well. I don't care who you're playing against. And so obviously that'll be a huge thing. We know we're going in a hostile environment this week down at Clemson. It's one of the better, home field advantages and venues to play. It's going to be loud, crazy, all those things. And they have a 38-game home winning streak. We know that. So it's obviously a tough place to go play and try to get a win. So we'll have to prepare for that, particularly on offense, to be ready for that. And and you look at their team. Defensively, they're still outstanding. I mean, their strength of their team up front, their defensive line, too deep. They're all really good players. I mean, really good. I say really good players, high draft pick players. Linebackers, number 22 is an outstanding player. He last year was playing on the outside. This year is moving on the inside. Can really run. He's strong. And then the other two linebackers are sophomores, are younger, but they're really good as well. They can play. And then offensively, people have been talking about their offense. I mean, I still think they have a lot of weapons. I mean, Shipley's an outstanding player. He's got tremendous speed. He's their return guy. He can catch the ball in the backfield. They do everything with him. And I think their offensive line's playing better this year compared to last year when you're looking at their team. Receiver-wise, a little bit different, what kind of makeup what they've had. But, their go-to guy is a freshman. Number 0 is an outstanding player. I think you think talk about their quarterbacks. I mean, both of those guys that have played are very, very capable. I mean, DJ he's got one of the strongest arms in the country. I think he's had a really, really good year compared to last year. Kind of bounced back this year. I know, people want to talk bad about him or this or that. I mean, but he certainly is. He can run, he can throw, he can do it all. I mean, he's really, really talented player. So, I think people love to talk about it and try to create some kind of controversy when it comes to that. And but he's an outstanding player. And we got a work cut out for us. Going against this team, we know we're going to have to play a great game. We got to win the turnover margin. We got to win the big play side of the ball, both sides of the ball. So, but anyway, I think with that, we should be ready to go. I think we came out of the game pretty healthy. I think Malik did ding his non-throwing hand, but he's fine. He's going to be practicing this week. He'll be out there today practicing. Luke Kandra should be back practicing this week. He's offensive lineman that we've missed the last 2 weeks. So he'll still be a kind of a day-to-day, but he'll be out there practicing this week, which is a great sign to be able to get him back out. I think he's been playing at a high level. And other than that, we got everybody else is ready to go. So we're excited about it. We'll open up with questions.
Scott, this is from Gary Graves of the Associated Press. How much is the team's psyche different than a month ago? And do you worry about if somewhere along the way, say it's whoever it is, Clemson, Kentucky, and it changes their psyche? Do you worry about that?
No, I think we're certainly playing with a lot more confidence as a football team overall compared to a month ago. I think once you get kind of after the first part of the season, you kind of get you feel a good identity of your team. You kind of know where your strengths and weaknesses are after about the first 4 or 5 games. We were inconsistent early on playing, and I think we've just kind of over the last 4 games we really found some consistency. I think that's been the biggest key. And when you do that, then you get confidence. And I think it certainly still hadn't been easy. I mean, we're still battling every game. You're still going out there, and it's taking 4 quarters. It's taking a lot of time to continue to stick with it. But our guys have been able to do that, and we do. We have a lot of confidence, and we're going to play in a really good team right here in a hostile environment and all that. But I mean, we got to do what we've been doing the last 4 games, and not worry about who we're playing, and try to elevate our game a little bit more, and just try to continue to get better.
Scott, how do you think the Clemson's loss affects the ACC hopes of making the playoff, and does that open things up for other teams such as Louisville, whoever that might be?
I don't really know how that's all. There's still a lot of ball left to be played. As far as that goes, in this league, I think UNC only has 1 loss. I think short of Clemson, and there's a lot of things happen. I mean, last weekend there's a lot of losses in some top teams. So who knows what's going to happen over the next 3 weeks? I think everybody loves to speculate, but we really don't know. So I think everybody's just got to continue to play. We got to, the teams that are playing the best this time of year. I think a lot of this comes down to who's the most healthiest team overall. You start getting dinged up. I mean, I feel like the last 4 weeks, everybody we're playing, it's got somebody out here or there. I mean, it's so this time of year. That part gets a little bit tricky, but there's a lot of ball left to be played in these next 3 weeks, so I don't want to speculate on any of that.
Scott, do you prepare for both quarterbacks, and they are different? How difficult is it to maybe not know which one they're going to use?
Yeah, I mean, but I still you have to prepare for what they do offensively. Those 2 players are different themselves, but you're still going to run inside zone, inside zone read. Some of their same pass patterns that are going to be running. So. You still got to be fundamentally sound. I think though, depending on who's in the game, you can maybe tweak how your calls are going to be, but you're still going to prepare for that offense the same way, and you just got to be fundamentally sound. We got to tackle good this week. I mean, I really think their backs run hard, and they're straining for extra yards all the time, and so we really got to bring our feet and tackle really good this week. In order to get these guys down and not let them churn out those big yards. One thing that you don't want to happen if they just hand the ball off and all of a sudden it's first down after first down because they're just churning out these yards and occupying the ball and all those. So we got to do a great job of getting them on the ground.
What does it do for a team when you have guys like Josh Lifson, Isaac Martin, scoring touchdowns? You can see how everybody comes off the bench pretty much to congratulate him stuff. But, I mean, for those guys, because it takes so many guys to make this work.
Yeah.
And
Isaac Martin, who scored this week. But, it takes these guys, a lot of these guys that are making plays don't get the limelight. You don't really hear about them too often, but they're just battling behind the scenes. Just, they're proud to be a part of the team. They're glue guys. I love having glue guys on teams that kind of keep everything tight. I mean, I just think it makes your team better. I mean, you're going to have your star players. You're going to have your guys that are kind of in the limelight. But the other guys are really what holds the team together, and those glue guys. So to be able for them to get some spotlight and to make big-time plays, and certainly in key situations, it's awesome. They'll remember it for the rest of their life. They have so much respect from their teammates, and I think that just increases the morale of a football team, and it makes the younger guys know if I would continue to work hard, that could be me one day, and we love rewarding those guys in that regard.
Scott, aside from the obvious, which would be another victory, if you were happen to win, what do you see as the potential impact or implications for your program?
Yeah, well, it may be huge. Obviously, to beat a team so recognizable like Clemson, that's won national championships, that has won 38 straight at home, and it's certainly, as your future, your program looks really good, and it impacts recruits. It impacts the future that way, which is huge, obviously. And, it also just proves that we're headed in the right direction, I think, and just to know that, hey, we're not there yet, obviously, but we want to continue to get better and better as a football team. And this would be another step in that direction.
Scott, just kind of going back to the point of different guys scoring touchdowns, just how big, especially in that second half, could it be used as motivation? How you were able to get that passing game going, especially like Malik's throw when he stayed in the pocket and
that
hit
was
T.
nice.
Huddy?
Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's huge. We want to be a complete offense. You know, we just we want to be one-dimensional. And I think, you know, we're rushing over 200 yards a game right now, over 200 passing. I mean, we're still pretty balanced. We're still getting some good chunk plays. We're just not getting the huge chunk plays, which was nice to see the other night when T. Huddy scored and Tyon scored from over 70. And, you know, those plays is what kind of been few and far between for us. But it was good to see that. I think Tyon's getting more and more healthy each and every week. Which has been great. It was over 100 yards the last two games. Big challenge this week. You know, this is one of the top rush defenses out there again that we're playing, and that'll probably be like a broken record over the last 4 games. I think these defenses we're going to be playing. So, but yeah, I mean, you get these guys more healthy, and to be able to push the ball down the field in the pass game is going to be big for us. You know, I think those chunk plays, just momentum plays that get the offense going and rolling, which we got to be able to have and try to get in the end zone. I mean, field goals, man, that's been – you don't want to have to kick those. You want to get it in the end zone, something we continue to work on and try to get better at that situation.
Scott, you're a play caller, you know, and whenever, you know, a team's kind of stealing your calls, you walk some plays onto the field last year. You think it's time for radios to go in the helmet of college football? I
do. We have so much technology that's available right now. The NFL's been doing it for years. We certainly need to do that. We talked about it as a whole organization several years back, then it's kind of died down. You know, with the technology that we have, why are we not doing that? And, I think that's something that certainly we need to bring up when we get back to our meetings this off season, you know, because everybody seems like now is signaling. You know, every team's got some form of signals and everybody's trying to steal signals. I mean, you know, why not? I mean, you're going to look over there, and if we can get it, we're going to try to get it. And I think every team does that. So I think it's going to be more beneficial if we can at least give that option. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but let's work on that with the technology that's available.
Scott, I'm curious, how severe is Cunningham's hand injury, and when did the injury occur?
Yeah, I don't know when it occurred, and I don't even think he really knew. I mean, he played, he finished out the game until there. We put Brock in there. It wasn't because of an injury. It's just because, we felt we wanted to play with Brock. So, hopefully it's not too significant. We'll see how he practices out there today. Obviously know more, but I don't know when it occurred.
Scott, coaches tend to remember losses more than wins. Is the one against Clemson last year, is that one that really sticks with you? I mean, you lost some sleep over.
Yeah, I mean, down inside the 5 and in 4 plays and didn't score. I mean, it sticks with us big time. It's one of those games that you certainly had an opportunity to go win if you get in there. And, I mean, if we scored, they still had some time. I mean, who knows what would have happened. But, offensively, it was just really haunts you, but not to be able to score right there. There are certain games that stand out more than others. That's certainly one that stands out and probably will for a long time. And hopefully we can get that bad taste out of our mouth.
On the other hand, coming so close last year, you think that gives a little boost to the confidence that can play with this team?
Yeah, I think so. I do. One thing you come away from that, I mean, they were obviously a top team last year as well, and to be able to go toe-to-toe and hang in there and to play and to have a chance to at the very end, I thought our guys fought, great in that game, and we just got to hopefully continue to build off that, and I think it's a great opportunity, another chance to go play with one of the top teams in the country. Another ranked team, we've been playing a bunch of those this year. And so I really believe our guys will be unfazed by all of that and just go out there and play their game, go out there and continue to do what they've been doing the last 4 games to have the success that we've been able to have.
Scott, you guys have looked like a different team in the second half of, I think, the last 4 games. What can you pinpoint to that?
Just continue to work, and I think, there's certainly a few things that we've done. We've tried to isolate and put our receivers in position to be able to make plays in the passing game and be very intentional and specific about what we're trying to run offensively. Defensively, we've made a couple changes there. Griffin at safety has been in there the last 4 weeks. Trey Clark on the inside. Moving some guys around in the secondary. I think just all those things combined with the fact we continue to work and continue to do the things that we've been doing. We've not given up the bigger plays on defense. That's been huge. and I think all those things combined has given us a chance. And then in the second half of these games is when our guys have really shined. I think the second half of all 4 of these games, when the games have been, it could go either way, our guys have just stuck to it and just stayed in there and then finished out. We've talked about it all off season. I mean, we had to finish. We knew that. I mean, last year was 4 games, came down right to the end. We didn't finish those. Our guys have finally learned how to finish some of these games, and that's been nice to see.
We've talked a lot about Tyon all year, and you mentioned that maybe finally getting totally healthy. That run the other night, I think I saw one of the analytics had it like the second fastest running back guy of the week as far as miles per hour. Is that the final? Is that the real Tyon we see, the breakaway speed like that?
Yeah, and I still don't think he's 100% healthy. I mean, I think he's getting better each and every week. I mean, he's better this week than he was last, and so on and so forth. So hopefully we'll continue to see him elevate his game. And he's certainly, we've talked about it. I mean, he's got the juice in the legs to be able, he gets to the second level, he can take it the distance. But also the power in the box. We saw that last week as well. He's breaking tackles, he's spinning, he's getting up there, getting extra yards. So he's becoming the back that we thought he could be over the last 2 weeks. For him, he's going back home, South Carolina, so it'll be big for him this week to be able to go back home and play Clemson. So I know he'll be excited, and hopefully he'll continue to progress the way he has the last 2 weeks.
Scott, you talked about the need to want to get bigger chunk plays in the passing game, but it seems like maybe in the last 2-3 weeks, Malik's getting the ball out on time, and you guys have had more success in the passing game because of that. Was that an emphasis? Were you guys? It didn't seem like you guys were doing that earlier in the year.
Yeah, it is. It's more of an emphasis for us to be able to get the ball out. I think we don't want the negative plays. The negative plays what kill you and knock you off the sticks. We've done a much better job the last 4 weeks of staying on the sticks. You can go back to the Virginia game, where we just kind of stayed on it. It's probably more beneficial for us to get rid of the football underneath and then maybe try to run and get the first down as opposed to trying to just knock it off the top all the time. And I think we've kind of adjusted that throughout this season with our guys, and it's been more obviously paid off for us. And I think we can get better at that too. We got to keep working on that to get better.
What about the atmosphere there and how your guys have been in some of those atmospheres this year, and kind of what you expect? You've not coached a game? Have you coached it? You did. We went down there and played. Okay. What do you remember about that in the atmosphere?
It's loud. It's loud. It's packed. I mean, there's not going to be an empty seat in that place. They're going to be all on the hill. They turn the speakers up wide open. They also scream you loud. So yeah, it's a hostile environment for sure. And then they have a lot of talented players on the field, and they're used to winning. I mean, all those things combined is the reason they won 38 in a row there. So it's certainly a home field advantage for them. But we've been in, with Syracuse, Central Florida, we've been in some hostile environments this year. Hopefully we've learned from that, because you just got to concentrate. That's the bottom line. You got to concentrate on what you have to do in between the lines in that field and tune out all that stuff that's outside of that. This point in the season, hopefully we're fully aware of that.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, you never want self-inflicted, false starts, things of that nature. How important is that, especially this week with a crowd like that?
Yeah, it's extremely important. And I wish we could play all games here. It'd be a lot better. I kind of like these last 3 we've been able to play right out here in Cardinal Stadium. So, that's a huge part. Big emphasis this week is, not the self-inflicted penalties. We don't want those, obviously. But, it's one thing to say it and not want it, but then you have to go out there and play. And you got some 6'5", 300-pound guy sitting right in front of you trying to take your head off, and we got to concentrate on this snap. So all those they factor in. So we'll work on it, and hopefully we'll go out there and we'll be poised. You got to have poise when you're playing games like this for sure.
Obviously, there's only so much you can do to prepare for that noise level. But what are you guys doing as far as just to simulate maybe that loudness, that noise level? Is that just a matter of turn the boombox up really loud, or how do you guys do that?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly turn our music up, turn our noise up, when we're working throughout practice. And really, it's just the offense, right? I mean, the defense is normally quiet when they're out there on the field, or and offensively, we'll do that. We'll work some different ways of running our cadence, where sometimes because the lineman can't hear a cadence, and so we may have to go silent cadence. So we'll work on that as well, and get used to that. And, you know, we've been fortunate the last 3 weeks. We didn't need it, but we do now. And we had to use this at Syracuse, you know, and we did. We had a few false start penalties there, but, you know, hopefully we've learned and we'll be a lot better at that this week. That it? All right. Thanks, guys.